picture. Isn't that a beautiful video? A shot of Manhattan this morning.
Right. How pretty is that? Is that a painting?
No,
that's a live picture.
Amazing.
And welcome. It is the first day of spring, and the guy from America's Dairy State, the congressman from the great state of Wisconsin, Sean Duffy, joins us. How was the Dairy Queen for breakfast?
It was delicious. I've never had Dairy Queen at 6 o'clock in the morning. that pink skyrise almost matches your shirt, Brian. It's a pink day today.
Yeah, absolutely. I felt as though I had to tell America it's spring. That's right. And this is the only way to do it, with pink, which is an odd adjustment.
I love pink on men, and they say it takes a very brave man to wear pink, but it looks great.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Really?
You wear it well.
It's rose.
Thank you very much. Can we focus more on me this segment? That'd be great. Yeah.
Let's talk about Obamacare. Health care plan, repeal and replace. Is it going to happen this week? And if so, what's your opinion?
Yeah, so the bill is going to come up on Thursday. I don't think we have the votes yet to actually pass it. So you've seen Donald Trump, the president, engage. We have some Freedom Caucus members who are still no. And the president's pretty good at this. So he's going to come in. He can make some last-minute tweaks on the bill and hopefully get these guys on board. So I'm very optimistic. Paul Ryan and our whip have been counting folks and seeing what tweaks they need to make to get them to yes, and I think we're going to get there.
Well, one of the tweaks is going to be for Medicaid recipients who are able-bodied and single to be able to work. So that was one of the to have to work in order to receive Medicaid, which shows you really have no other option when it comes to health care. What other tweaks do you think that Paul Ryan should be open to?
So just take a step back. I mean, we usually Medicaid was for people, that you have kids or the disabled or, widows. I mean, this was the health care that helped the really most disadvantaged among us. Yeah. So I think that's an important tweak, getting able-bodied folks back into the workforce. But number two, you have some older adults, whether you're, 60 to 64, where your health care starts to skyrocket. You have a sicker population. We had a $4,000 refundable tax credit. I think that can be bumped up, whether it gets to $5,000 or $6,000. A little more generosity there will go a long way in making health care more affordable.
64-year-olds who seem to be somewhat left out in the cold.
Because AARP is running a radio commercial that I've been listening to here in the New York City area, talking about how this healthcare bill has an age tax. The older you are, the more it costs, and there is something to that.
Well, but you were looking at this under the purview of Obamacare, right? I mean, Obamacare has skyrocketed costs.
Right, but you want to fix it. You want to make something better than that.
But what the CBO and others don't look at, AARP don't look at, is the fact that you can have choice and competition. So if I'm 57 years old and my wife is 58, and you're making me buy maternity coverage, I don't need maternity coverage.
Right.
Let's let people pick healthcare plans that work for the risks in their lives. You can drive down prices, inject competition, and you'll see this subsidy go a lot further than the exchanges in Obamacare, making healthcare cheaper for Americans.
Congressman, you have to understand this, though. One thing we heard about 3 phases a couple of days in.
Right.
Now, the second phase is going to be important, but you can't reveal for ethical reasons what Tom Price is actually going to do. It doesn't look like Congress can move their money around and invest. So Tom Price is going to come in as Health and Human Services Secretary and undo and redo a whole bunch of rules. It's going to make a lot of conservatives happy, evidently. But the third phase is very much in doubt. That's when you can do insurance across state lines. That's when you can bring competition, because you got to get the 60 votes in the Senate.
That's right. So we acknowledge that the third phase takes Democrats to join in. And so part of this is competition across state lines. I think Democrats would join us on that. I don't know. We want tort reform. Democrats have sold out to the trial bar. They might not come with us there. But there's a lot of other...
But that's not okay.
Well, what do you mean?
It's not okay not to have tort reform. That's one of the foundations of a conservative plan.
Well, because you have doctors practicing defensive medicine,
Absolutely.
which drives up the cost of health care and really for the end patient. So I think the pressure that will come to bear on Democrats to join us, even allowing, if you're a realtor, to join my other realtors around America, to use the buying power of all realtors and the Realtors Association.
With an association.
With the association.
It's going to take work.
This is part of it as well.
But if you want to know the mindset, Nancy Pelosi revealed it. I know it's the House, but when asked about Democrats getting involved, listen to what she says to John Dickerson.
The Democrats offered something that could meet them halfway, meet Republicans halfway, or to deal with some of those issues?
No, it's not a question of halfway. It's like a little bit pregnant. You either have health care or you don't. You can't say, I'm going to give you all the goodies, but none of the responsibility. And that's what the president is saying.
Congressman?
Listen, she's going to be a no through and through. But we have to recognize, has Nancy Pelosi or Chuck Schumer or Barack Obama come up with any fix to Obamacare. My district in central and northern Wisconsin, it was a Democrat-leaning district. Donald Trump won it by over 60% because health care doesn't work for people. You can say in these exchanges you have great subsidies and great health care, but the bottom line is if you're paying $2,000, $3,000 a month in a premium and a $12,000 deductible, that's unusable for you. So they need us to reform this. Democrats are going to have to get on board, and I think the pressure is going to come to bear. The key point for Democrats, once we repeal and start the replacement, they know they can't go back, and that's when they're going to have to come to the table and I think negotiate with us. I think Nancy's going to be part of that conversation, or maybe I'm hopeful. Spring is in the air, that ice cream is kicking in now, and I'm very.
Might be a sugar high.
It might be a sugar high.
Yeah. And ultimately, going forward, under your plan, people will not be forced to buy something they do not want.
When you heard the CBO come out and say 24 million people won't have coverage, well, the big part of that number was people are going to choose not to buy coverage. We believe in choice in America. Let people make the decision.
Instead of the government telling them what they have to do.
Well, the only problem is if you choose not to and you have a catastrophic accident, we're all paying for it.
Well, you're going to have a time frame where you can't get back into coverage, and that is a good point, Brian. But again, we want people to have the freedom to choose to have coverage or not, and we don't believe in this nanny state that directs us to buy coverage. And I think that's a key tenet.
What are you doing here? You should be in Washington voting on something,
well,
right?
Listen, I'm going back today. I'm going to be one lucky guy today doing that. So hanging out with the ladies.
All right.
So
we'll be watching at noon.
Hey, all right.
All right,
Thanks,
guys.
so much,
Thank you.
Sean.
All right. 22 minutes now before the top of the hour, and